Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Marcus Schubert. I'm coming to you from the Gold Coast. Very excited to be delivering this presentation. The more I put this together today, the more excited I get, and I honestly believe this could be a defining moment in your network marketing career. Tonight, we're going to go through some success concepts. Number one, a better way of thinking. Number two, a better business model. Number three, understanding leverage. And then finishing up with the exciting compound effect. So the famous Jim Rohn talked about a formal education will make us a living, but self-education can make us a fortune. And if we're going to start a business, we need to understand that we need to think differently than an employee. He also had a quote that said, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." And that's the great thing I love. When I first started in network marketing as a 22-year-old, I knew nothing about business, but nobody could stop me from learning new skills, practicing those skills, and getting better along the way. And Jim also talked about the fact that success is not to be pursued. It is to be attracted by the person you become. So no matter what our results are in our business right now, we can grow as a person. And as we grow as a person, our business will grow and we will attract people who match the energy of where we are as we grow throughout life and then grow our business as well. So one of the challenges we have when we're out there talking to people is that throughout our entire life, we are conditioned into linear thinking. Now, for a lot of people, the traditional model is broken, and that's assuming they want some sort of time or financial freedom. But you don't know the model's broken when you're in it. And most people are out there spending our time, not investing our time. We're conditioned into minimalistic behavior, which means, hey, if I'm only going to get paid this much for doing the work, I'm not going to go above and beyond. So don't be surprised when people come into business that they still think like an employee with this minimalistic behavior. So a lot of people, they're used to being in a situation where they want to see instant results. They want other people to fix their problems because, hey, that's how it is when you're at work. If there's something wrong with the business, it's typically not an employee mentality to say, well, hey, it's my job or responsibility to use my initiative and go and fix this problem. We go and point at the problem when we stand there pointing at it and expect somebody else to fix it. So we get stuck being a cog in the machine versus owning the machine. And for us, it's time to learn about a new way of thinking to break free, because there's basically two types of people in the world. There's the type of people who are stuck in the fishbowl, swimming around, not realizing they're being limited by an invisible barrier that's holding them back and conditioning them. But nowadays, people are getting more and more excited about the opportunity to break free so they can have a better balance of time and financial resources. So when people are conditioned into linear thinking, they're basically trading time for money. Now, a lot of you guys listening to this may know this already, but just because we know it, we can't assume that the people we are talking to know or see this, because if they're in the fishbowl of life, they cannot see the glass. They just keep swimming around thinking this is how life is. But because of the fact that they're trading time for money, people's relationships are suffering. And if you're talking to people about this, this is something they can identify with. This is not glass. They're experiencing this. They're also experiencing the fact that their health is suffering because they're working too many hours. They're stressed out. They're not getting enough sleep. Their kids are walking home from school alone, or they're sitting there being entertained by a device because mum and dad are at work. So these are things that people are experiencing. People's bills are piling up. And also, people are not understanding that, hey, they're getting paid per sale, per client, per hour, per week, per year. And they never really sat back and thought about the fact that, hey, they continue to start over and over again, every hour, every week, every year from zero. And a lot of times they've never been shown the concept where they can do the work once, but get paid over and over again. Most people are not in a world where they actually understand they can make money while they're sleeping. So if that were possible, a lot of people start to think about, well, how does this business actually work? Because most people, if they're wanting to change their situation, they go out and they get a second job, or they work more hours at their current job, or, yeah, maybe they think about starting a business, but if they do, what type of business are they going to start? You know, the statistics actually tell us that 85% of millionaires did it by either being a CEO of a big company, building a huge real estate portfolio over 10, 20, 30 years. Some were professional athletes, actors, entertainers, or inventors, but 99% of people who actually created wealth built a business. Now, not just any business, but a big business. So if we know that and we're talking to people about this, they start to think, well, okay, if business is the way to go, because let's face it, not many people are gifted to be a professional athlete, actor, entertainer, or inventor. So if business is the way to go for the majority, what type of business should they be looking at? And how do they stack the odds in their favor? Because it can be confusing and it can be a scary world. So we need to help people navigate through this thought process. So the traditional business options are one where you come up with an idea, you go and start your own business, you do everything yourself. But the challenge is 80% of these businesses fail in the first 5 years. So more recently, franchising has become a better option because 95% succeed because you develop nothing. You don't have to come up with the idea, the systems, the product. You get all of that, the branding. But the challenge is for those people who do go into franchising, most times they still don't have much time. They're stuck in there working that business themselves. So they still may have a successful business, but they still don't have time to enjoy it. So one thing we need to understand and help people to understand is that we can't get new results with old thinking. You know, back not too long ago, people used to drive from one side of the country to the other in the car, whereas nowadays we jump in an aeroplane because it's a new business vehicle. But think back to before the aeroplane was invented. If you had come up to somebody who'd never heard of an aeroplane and you said to them, hey, rather than drive across the country and take 5 days, you can jump in this thing, it's a big steel tube, you fly through the air and you can be there in 5 hours instead of 5 days. They're going, you sound like a lunatic, you've lost your marbles, you've been tricked into some ridiculous cult. But that's the reality of what's happening when we're coming to people, when we're talking about the new age of business. We're talking about network marketing. People don't understand the aeroplane of the new business world. So we need to help them understand the concept of a better business vehicle first, because once they're bought into the concept of flight, they say, well, hey, why would I ever drive from one side of the country to the other? It takes too long, you know, so much energy when I can fly. So there's another example. You know, why would you go out and buy a vinyl record these days when you can just go onto iTunes and have, you know, millions of songs on there? It's a new way of thinking. The next thing people need to understand is that network marketing and homes is a new normal. It's no longer a weird thing to do. 300,000 people a week are starting home-based businesses. So if people want more time and they want more money, they can do that by starting a home-based business. And hey, the best part is that they are then stacking the odds in their favor, because as you can see from this chart right here, 28% of businesses that are storefront businesses are likely to succeed versus 72% of people who start a home-based business. So there is low risk involved in starting a home-based business, but a high percentage success rate, believe it or not. Now, the other part is, if you start a home-based business, you're not getting stuck in traffic every single day. I mean, seriously, how many people love sitting there in traffic going to and from work 5-6 days a week? So again, when we're talking to people, these are things on their radar, things they can associate with and probably don't want to have to deal with for the rest of their life. So we have technology on our side, not against us. A lot of people are losing their jobs. Entire industries are being wiped out. Here in Australia, the manufacturing industry in the cars has been wiped out because of technology. And you know what? There are more and more people who are being concerned about that. Whereas when we start a home-based business, we can use Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and we're also tapping into the relationship trend where 78% of people trust a peer recommendation. So these are things that people are aware of. They're seeing it happening in the world around them. So we talk about this, it just makes sense. Now, what we need to understand is that network marketing gives us leverage. If you don't have leverage, You'll never have enough time, money, or both. And this is the big reasons people are now coming into network marketing, high performers, business owners, and professionals, because they've realized that they tend to be trading time for money, or the other way around. So I want to look at a concept here to help you understand leverage. Most people think they understand it. A lot of people I've spoken to, they've been involved with network marketing for 10, 20 years, and they still haven't really got their head around this. So I'm going to give you an example, and it's around a plant called a water hyacinth. It's kind of like a water lily. It grows on the surface of the pond, as you can see here. And the way this grows is it will, overnight, the leaf will divide, and so the next morning there'll be 2 leaves. Next morning they're both divided, so the 2 divided, the next morning there's 4, and then the 4 divide, and then there's 8. So bit by bit these water lilies start to cover the surface of the pond, the lake, or the river. And oh, by the way, they look really cool. If you put them behind your ear, check that out, eh? All right, so just to think about this concept of leverage and compounding. I want to ask you a question. Let's say we've got a water hyacinth, and if I told you it takes 30 days to fully cover the pond with these water lilies, all right, 30 days. If I asked you, well, if it takes 30 days to cover the pond, how many days do you think it would take to half cover the pond? All right, how long would it take to cover half? Now, because we're conditioned into linear thinking, most times our brain goes to half of the number 30, and you're probably thinking 15. All right, now the answer is not 15, and I wonder what percentage is. If it's not 50, what percentage would it be? Well, have a think about this. On day 15, only 0.000016% is covered. Not even 1% is covered in half the time. So what's the answer? Well, if you think about it, on day 30, the day before, it would be half full, because the idea is we're doubling every single day. 1 leaf goes to 2, 2 goes to 4, 4 goes to 8. All right, so we need to think backwards. We need to think, okay, 30 days it's full, 29 days it would be half full. Okay. Now this is very relevant for network marketing, and I'll give you some examples why that is. But before we do that, as things compound over time, we achieve leverage. See, a lot of people would quit network marketing if they were looking at that water lily example and they were halfway into their time destination for their goals, and they're not even 1% toward the results. All right, so small disciplines compounded over time can produce massive results. So another example is where you're given a job and you can choose how you're going to get paid. You can choose to be paid $1,000 per week, or you can choose to be paid 1 cent per week, but your pay will double every week for 30 weeks. All right, so it's a 30-week contract. Now, because we're conditioned for linear thinking, we all understand the $1,000 per week. If I said to you, well, how much money would you make over 30 weeks? You would know how much you would make, right? You'd say, right, I'd make 30,000. And if I said to you, well, you know, how much would you make after 8 weeks? You'd say, well, you would have made $8,000. So great, you're getting this, you're good at it, no problem. What about just on the 30th week? Not in total, just on the last week. On that 1 week, you would have made how much? You say, well, I would have made $1,000 that week, so we get it. Whereas if I asked you the same questions about 1 cent doubling, if I said, well, how much would you make after 30 weeks? Well, you'd have no idea. Okay, well, what about just after 8 weeks? You probably still have no idea. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, $1.28. All right, so you would have 55 cents. All right, now before we could understand, without even thinking about it, how much would we have made in 8 weeks at $1,000 a week? 8,000, bang. Now, if these were months, 8 months instead of 8 weeks, and you're in network marketing for 8 months and you made $1.28 for that month, you'd probably quit, right? Most people do quit because they don't understand the compound effect. Now, if we followed this 1 cent doubling just through for 30 weeks, or if it's months, 30 months, I could tell you just on the 30th week alone, not in total. All right, now in the 1,000 a week, the total was $30,000. And I'm not going to show you the total. I'm going to show you how much you'd make just on the 30th week. You would earn $5,368,709.12. If you don't believe me afterwards, go get a calculator and do 1 times 2 times 2 times 2. Do that 30 times. You won't come up with $5 million because the total you'll be seeing is over $10 million. That's how much in total. So think about this. Remember back to the water lily. Just assume I'm correct for now. Let's assume what I'm saying is true. If that number is true, $5.3 million in week number 30. In week number 29, you would have earned half that amount, which is around $2.6 million in week number 30. So just in week 29 and week 30, you would have made around $8 million, around 80% of the results. Now remember back to the water lily example, after 15 days, what percentage of the pond was covered? Well, in this example, on week 15, you would have earned $163 for that week, which is coincidentally 0.000016% of that $10 million. So this is what we need to understand for ourselves. And this is what we need to help people to set the correct expectations when they're coming into network marketing, so that the results reflect their expectations and they know that they need to be committed and consistent over a period of time to build this type of business. Now, here's something else. What is the compound effect looking like in action? Now, here's an example of what your business growth would look like if you went out and did the minimum, which is how employees approach things. I'm going to do the smallest amount possible to get paid and keep my job. So in our business, we need to build 2 teams, right? So we go out, introduce 2 people. What if you went absolutely crazy and you said, I'm not going to introduce 2, I'm going to introduce 3. And then you duplicated that activity. So instead of 2, you introduce 3. And then you help those 3 people introduce 3 people. This is how your business would grow over a period of time. So you can see, after only half a dozen or so replications, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 replications, you would end up with a team of, instead of 510 people, you would end up with a team of almost 10,000 people. Now people look at this and they say, wow, look at that, amazing. There's a difference of 9,330 people. They're looking at the end result and going, wow, one person must have been so much better at this business because they built a team of 10,000 versus the person who only built a team of 500. You know, and that's often the difference when people look at athletes and they say, wow, this person earns $10 million a year. And, you know, this other athlete only earns 100,000. They must be so much better. No, it's often the small disciplines compounded over time, because the real difference between these 2 organizations is not the 9,000 people you see as the end result. The real difference is just one person. Each person in this example introduced 3 people instead of 2. That's the only difference on the individual level. That's like the athlete doing the extra lap, the extra push-ups, the extra weight session, the extra video analysis. These small differences compounded consistently over time is what makes the massive difference at the end of the day. But the only reason you're going to do this and be committed to doing it is if you understand how the compound effects works. So I want to ask you a question, and it's a serious question. Where do you think you will be 7 years from now? All right, so think about your age, your actual age right now as you're listening to my voice. How old are you now? And add 7 years to that number. So for me, I'm 43, I'll be 50 years old. And the next question is, if I do not do network marketing, if I do not build a network marketing business, if I keep doing whatever I'm doing now, where am I likely to be with my time, my financial situation, my health, my lifestyle? Where am I going to be 50 years old? Where am I going to be 7 years from now? Because I'm going to show you an example of where you could be if You buy into the assumptions and you're prepared to do the work. So here's how it works. Let's say you're really busy. So you can only contact 5 people a week to view a presentation. Now answer in your mind, do you think that's possible? If you really wanted to do it, and if the results at the end of this you believe are worth it, if you wanted to, could you contact 5 people a week and have them actually view a presentation? Yes or no? All right, now if you answered yes, that means there's 20 people each month who you were responsible for getting eyeballs on a presentation about the business. 20 people per month. Now, let's say you're only committed to this process for 12 months. All right, 20 people a month for 12 months, 5 people a week. And let's say you're really lousy at follow-up and you only enroll 1 out of 10 people that you've actually had a presentation in front of into your business as a distributor. All right. Now, so basically that means out of the 20 people you've had to see a presentation, 2 people per month at the end of the first, it would enroll in your business, 2 a month. So at the end of the year, you'd have 24 people in your team at the end of the first year. So you're pretty excited. You've been working all year and you've got 24 people in your business. Now, let's say I'm Captain Negative and we assume that none of them do anything for that entire year. It was only you. You went and introduced these 24 people. And let's also assume, because I'm Captain Negative tonight, that your motivation and your training skills are lousy. So 5 out of 6 of them drop out of the business or quit. All right? Let's assume that. Is that all right? So that means out of those 24 people, you're left with 4 active distributors at the end of your first year. And of course, you're going to be pumped up, excited, ordering the Ferrari, booking in for holidays. No, you're probably going to be disappointed, dejected, and thinking about quitting yourself. But let's play this out. We're in a 7-year program. So let's say in year 2, your 4 distributors go to work, because these are the ones that are still hanging in there, right? They've committed to it like you did. And they bring in their 2 per month. Now you're just helping your team. So those 4 distributors bring in a 2 per month, which means you've got 96 new associates by the end of the year, but 5 out of 6 of them quit, which leaves you with 16 new active distributors at the end of year 2. So when you're looking at this business trend, it's actually pretty good. You've gone from 4 distributors at the end of year 1 to 16 at the end of year 2. So you've had a 400% growth from first year to second year, 16 new distributors. Year 3, your 16 distributors go to work, bring in 2 a month, which means you've got another 384 distributors by the end of that year. Problem is 5 out of 6 of them quit, leaving you with 64 new active distributors in year 3. Okay, take a deep breath. Year 4, your 64 distributors go to work, bringing in 2 a month, totaling 1,536 new distributors by the end of the year. But of course, 5 out of 6 of them quit, leaving you with 256 new active distributors at the end of your 4th year. Well, what happens in year 5? Your 256 distributors go to work, bring in 2 a month each, totaling 6,144 new distributors by the end of the year. 5 out of 6 quit, leaving you with 1,024 new active distributors at the end of year 5. Year 6, your 1,024 distributors go to work, bring in 24,500 new distributors. 5 out of 6 of them quit, leaving you with 4,000 new active distributors at the end of year 6. Now, in year 7, your 4,000 distributors go to work. They bring in 98,000 new distributors. Even when 5 out of 6 of them quit, you're left with 16,384 new active distributors. So let's look at what's happened over time. Year 1, you brought in 4 new people, 16 new people, 64, 256, 1,024, 4,096. And in year 7, your team brought in over 16,000 new people. If you add up all of those numbers, that gives you a total number of 21,844 active distributors in your business. Now let's think about this. If you have 21,000 active distributors, even on the bare minimum 60-point auto ship, and if we split your team in half and say you've got 10,922 in each team on a minimum 60 CV auto ship, that means you've got 655,000 CV per month going through each of your teams, which calculates out over 2,000 cycles per month. All right, over 2,000 team commissions per month. And at $35 US per cycle, that's over $75,000 per month. So let me ask you the question again. Where will you be in 7 years from now? And is it going to be worth your while, your time, effort, energy, and money, to be persistent and consistent to start talking to these 5 people per week and having them see a presentation about your business? Because even if, again, we've already accounted for 5 out of 6 people quit. We've already accounted for 1 out of 10 people join you. 90% say no. I've been very conservative here. But what happens if we be even more conservative again and say, well, what happens if it wasn't $75,000 a month in income? What if it was half of that? What if you were earning $35,000 a month residual income while you're sleeping 7 years from now? What's the difference between doing this business and not doing it for you? Because in 7 years' time, we're all going to be 7 years older anyway. All right? Most of us have already been working in the traditional business or job world for 7 years, and has it got this anywhere near this sort of result? And even if it has, will it keep coming if we stop working? Guys, do you think it's realistic that in the entire year that each person's found 24 distributors, that they maybe found 6 customers as well, people who didn't want to do the business? 1 in 4 people said no to the business but yes to the product. Well, if they did, there's another 21,844 people bringing in 6 customers each, 131,000 customers in your team as well. Guys, this is powerful stuff. Network marketing gives us leverage, and if you don't have leverage, you'll never have enough time, money, or both. So with that, guys, I hope that's been an exciting presentation for you. I hope it's given you a better business mindset. I hope it's given you a level of excitement about where you are right now, where you can take this business, and I hope it has given you an understanding of how to position this business in a powerful way to the people that you talk to, so you can make a real difference to those people's lives, and they can come in and treat this business with the respect that it deserves. They can come in, they can be consistent, they can set up a 2, 5, 7, 10-year plan that they can do even if they're busy, and not get disappointed and discouraged and want to quit when somebody drops out of the business or stops taking the product, or the cat got fluffy, or they had to mow the lawn. You know what? Because this is a business that works. It's been working for 100 years. It's going to work for the next 100 years. The only thing we have to do is work it and get the rewards. Thanks very much. My name is Marcus Schubert, and I hope I get to meet and work alongside you guys very soon.